guys, it's Kayla. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've watched some of my videos before. Today we're going to be doing a tag video. This is the mid-year book freakout tag. I saw Victoria from A Musical Bookworm do this. I will link her channel in the description box below if you would like to go watch her video. It is where I got the idea to do this. I know this isn't a new tag, but it is a fun tag, and I am going to partake in it. So according to my Goodreads challenge, I've read 41 books this year, but I did have 2 DNFs, so technically 39, because adding and taking away books on there is like pulling teeth. I don't know why that website is so dumb sometimes. It should not be that difficult to just like go back and edit and change when you read a book, or if you didn't finish a book, or remove it from the challenge. I don't know. It irritates me. This is a first world problem, I understand, but either way, it is run by Amazon. It is ridiculous that Goodreads website is so stupid. Anyway, rant over. Let's move on to the first question. Okay, so the first question is my favorite book that I've read so far this year, and I am going to go with The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I read this at the beginning of May, and I just loved it. It was one of my favorite books that I read in a really long time. I binged it. The audio for it is fantastic. It is an African-inspired epic fantasy with the second book in the series coming out. It's looking like November now, which is gonna be a busy month for me, not gonna lie. But I'm very excited about it. I absolutely loved the writing. I thought it was super unique, but also felt similar to classic fantasy, but in a new, more elevated and diversified setting. I just loved it, and you should definitely go check it out. Evan Winter seems like a really cool guy. Also, there's an interview on Daniel Green's channel with him, and I just loved it. Okay, I loved it. Second question, best sequel I've read this year is gonna go to Oathbringer. I read this in April, I think, March or April, I can't remember which month. This is the 3rd book in the Stormlight archive by Brandon Sanderson. You're gonna see a lot of Sanderson because I am trying to finish out everything he's ever written, and I think I'm gonna be able to accomplish that this year. These books are they're just my favorite. A lot more of the focus in this book is on Dalinar Kholin, whereas the other 2 books have a lot more Kaladin. Even the second book, which is Shallan's arc, there's still a lot of Kaladin, so I think this one has like, I mean, he's still there. Obviously, he's in the group, but he's definitely not the main focus of this book. I'm actually rereading the Stormlight Archive right now with Stormalong 2020. I will link the host channels in the comments below if you are interested in joining us. The first live stream is actually going to be on June 18th. That will cover the first 275 or so pages of the first book, Way of Kings. So if you wanted to join in, you definitely could hop in right now if you wanted to. So moving right along. The third question is new release you haven't read yet but want to. I read new releases immediately. I'm not the kind of person who can wait. I cannot stand a spoiler, and so if I'm really interested in reading a book, I'm gonna pick it up immediately. So The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was one of my books that I was waiting on to come out this year, and I've read that already. I read it in like 2 days. I can't think of anything else that I waited on that's already come out. I was planning on reading Aurora Burning by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, but I ended up hating Aurora Rising, so that was on my list of things that I was planning on reading, and then I just decided I would never touch that book because the first one was so terrible. So moving on. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And this one I have a couple. I have Rhythm of War, which is the 4th book in the Stormlight Archive, which comes out in November, and also Fires of Vengeance, which is the sequel to Rage of Dragons, which also comes out in November. So it's gonna be a busy month for me. I'm planning on binging them both immediately. The Fire of Vengeance book actually got pushed back from July to November, so I was like really excited that I'd have one like next month and like, you know, have them spaced out, but I guess I'll just be living in a shell under a blanket or something for, I don't know. God, it's gonna take me so long to get through both those books. It's gonna be a tough month. Not complaining though. I'm very excited for both of them. Number 5 is my biggest disappointments of this year so far. I would say Aurora Rising for sure. I liked Illuminae Files. I liked the Nevernight Chronicles. But the thing is, I didn't like the ending of the Illuminae Files. I thought the last book in it was just awful. And then, well, I guess not awful. Not great though. Like a little bit less than mediocre. Like I did not really enjoy it. And then I do like the Nevernight Chronicles. I like the first and the second one more than the third one. But either way, I know that he's kind of a controversial author right now, but I did enjoy those books. And I think I'm going to pick up his newest adult fantasy novel, something about vampires. I don't remember what it's called, which I don't usually like vampires. It's going to be a strange read for me. I'm going to tell you that right now. But yeah, and then the other book that I did not like and I DNF'd, it was actually my first DNF this year, was Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahorn. And this one I'd heard so many people rave about, mostly on Bookstagram though, where I think less people post negative reviews. Booktube, I feel like we are, as a community, love to rant about a bad book, whereas Bookstagram I feel like is a little bit nicer when it comes to book reviewing. So maybe I should have looked on Booktube for reviews as opposed to Bookstagram for this one, but either way, I went into it with a pretty open mind. I thought I was going to really like it, and then I ended up hating it and DNFing it. So those are my two most disappointing reads this year. Number 6, biggest surprise. That's going to be Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I had seen that book all over the place. I didn't expect to love it, and I just loved it. It's so good. I get why some people talk about it. I keep meaning to pick up Infinity Sun. I got it from my library. I think I might have like 2 more days on it, but I have been in a reading slump, and I've been making my way through Way of Kings slowly, and then I've been listening to the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, and I just haven't been reading as much as I usually do. So I think I'm going to end up having to put myself back on the hold list for that, because I'm obviously just not reading it quickly enough. Number 7, favorite new author, debut or new to you. Once again, I'm gonna just shout out Evan Winter. I really think you guys need to read him, okay? I'm gonna talk about this book until somebody I know reads this book, so I can talk about this book some more. So that is what it is. I also haven't read that many other new authors. I did like Kristen Hanna as well. I think I would definitely pick up more books by her. I have one more on my shelf, I think, that I haven't read by her. But, I think it's called Magic Hour. But yeah, I think her writing is good. I thought one of her books was fantastic, one was just okay. But either way, the actual writing style I thought was really good. Number 8, newest fictional crush. Honestly, I don't think it's new, but since I did read Oathbringer this year, I'm just going to say Kaladin. And honestly, Adolin too. But Kaladin is my numero uno, I think. And I don't know that it's a crush so much as I just want to protect him at all costs. I just love him. And I know, like, everybody loves Kaladin in the Stormlight Archives. Like, that's the character that people love. But there's a reason, man. That sad boy, he just needs a hug. He just needs someone to love him and hug him, okay? I think I could be that person if he would let me, okay? That's it. Number 9, newest favorite character. This is going to be more Stormlight and Brandon Sanderson. I guess not all Stormlight. But Lightsong from Warbreaker. I really, really liked him. He's a god who, like, doesn't believe in his own deity, and just, like, the moral questions he poses, and I just think he's a fun character, and I loved his arc in that book. I thought he was so good. I mean, Brandon, that's just like his thing. He's like, what would be ironic? What would be an interesting character that I haven't seen before? And how can I make this character have an arc that the last bit of a book will make the reader's mind just explode? And that's what he got for me in Warbreaker. And I liked a lot of the characters in that book, but I really was drawn to Lightsong and also Vasher's sword. Also, I really liked Lift and Szeth from the Stormlight Archive. They grew on me a lot in Oathbringer, which I read this year, and also I read Edge Dancer, which focuses on Lift, and I just think she's fun. Like, I get, like, she's kind of a weirdo, but I appreciate, like, those weird kind of characters. And also, since I got sorted into the order of the Edge Dancers on the Knights Radiant quiz, which I'll also put in the description box if you haven't taken that quiz, so now I just feel like we're, meant to be, and I love her. So, number 10, books that made you cry. The song. Of the 39 books I read this year, I went through my Goodreads, because I am telling you guys, I'm a crier. Of the 39, 18 made me cry. So I'm not about to sit here and name all 18. I'm going to name the ones that made me cry the most, because I just cry. I'm a crier. So, the ones that made me cry the most: The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, Rage of Dragons, Oathbringer, Crooked Kingdom, Fellowship of the Ring. That might seem like a weird one to you, but there's a lot of like, I don't know. That one made me cry a few times too. And it wasn't just like sadness. There was some sadness, but I think because I loved it so much, I cried. I'm super emotional, you guys. Like, I literally cry all the time. I cannot be stopped. It doesn't, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. And I also reach for books that make me cry. It's something I'm drawn to. I don't know. Number 11, a book that made you happy. The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson. That book is so fun. If you're in a reading slump, I think that's a really great book to pick up because it is a simple book. It's pretty YA. I think it's YA. I actually don't know. The main character is a student at a school, and the magic has to do with chalk drawings, and they come to life, and one of the characters, like, she always draws unicorns, and she makes the unicorn attack other chalk drawings, chalklings it's called, and it's kind of like a whodunit sort of situation where, like, there's some murders and disappearances occurring, and there's a police officer, and the student and one of the professors is trying to figure out what's happening, and it's really cool. The world building is good for such a short book. It's sort of like an alt universe version of the US, and I don't know, I really liked it. I flew through it. I think it might be like a little over 300 pages, and it was fun. It's a fun read. Number 12, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. That's gonna be The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex Harrow. I haven't read this book, but look at that cover, man. Keys, door, this beautiful ancient like doorknob, the flowers, the black. I haven't read it. I don't have plans to read it anytime soon, but it even has those weird little pages. You probably can't see it, but yeah, it's just gorgeous. I'm obsessed. I've taken photos of it multiple times just because I can't stop. I just can't stop myself. Number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I plan on finishing the rest of Brandon Sanderson's books. I know I have to read The Reckoners, which is like a YA trilogy that deals with superheroes, but I don't know. I feel like that one's kind of a mixed bag. Like, some people really like it and some people think it's mediocre. Either way, I'm planning on reading that. The rest of the Cosmere, I have Arcanum Unbounded to finish, which is like the compilation of a lot of his novellas and short stories that Edge Dancer actually comes out of. I think Edge Dancer has its own. There's like, you can buy that on its own too, but I have the whole collection. And then White Sands, which is his graphic novel, which is also part of the Cosmere, which I didn't realize. So I think that's all I have left. I'll put the ones that I've read on the screen. So if you think of one that I haven't read that I didn't mention, drop it in the comments. Legion. I think Legion is another one that I haven't read by him. But I think that's it. I think that's all I have left. So I want to finish up his books. I'd like to finish out Red Rising and Lord of the Rings. I have 2 books left in Lord of the Rings and 4 books left in Red Rising. So that one might not be feasible. And then also I'd like to pick up Blood of Elves by Andrzej Sapkowski. The first book in the Blood Elf saga, the Witcher books. I read The Last Wish earlier this year, and I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was okay, but I'm curious to see if I enjoy Blood of Elves better, because I didn't really like the short story style of that book, and I think if it would have been a more linear timeline, I probably would have liked it more, but either way. I also would like to finish the Saga graphic novels by Brian K. Vaughan. I have the first 2, and I'd like to just finish it because those are short enough, and I really liked them, but I want to read graphic novels more. I really like the art, and but I just don't find myself reaching for them very often, which is strange because I really enjoyed the first volume. I don't know. Okay, and the last question, number 14, who is your favorite book community member? So obviously I watch a lot of Booktube. That's part of being on Booktube. It's the community aspect, discussing books with other people. But I do think there's so I have some bigger channels that I watch and some smaller channels that I watch. So the bigger channels that I watch are Read with Cindy, Chandler Ainsley, and Kayla from Books and Lala. I really enjoy all of their channels. Oh, and Chanel from Chanel Time. I love all of them. And then also for smaller channels that I watch, I like Jessie from The Bookish Mom, Shannon from Wine, Tea, and Paper, Teresa Love, Michael Nip. I love Seeking Stories. I really enjoy all of their content. Most of them are fantasy readers like I am, but some of them are not. They're just people that I like the type of content, or I like their personality and I think we would get along. You know what I mean? So that is that for that tag. I will go ahead and tag Shannon from Wine, Tea, and Paper. I will tag Teresa Love. I'll tag Jessie from The Bookish Mom. So yeah, y'all are tagged, or you don't have to do it. It's up to you. But either way, that's it from me. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned and there'll be more to come.